Eating rotten fish to survive? Viking survival secrets in the harsh winter?
Would you be willing to eat a piece of fish that had been buried underground for months, reeking like a mix of rotten trash and spoiled cheese, just to survive? Well, this isn't science fiction. It's the real survival secret of the Vikings, those fearless warriors from the frozen north who didn't just conquer lands, they conquered winter itself. Welcome to Stress and Heal, where we revive forgotten tales, unveil ancient secrets, and explore survival technologies that don't require Wi-Fi but once saved entire civilizations. In today's video, we travel back in time into a world of ice and silence, where no supermarkets existed, no electricity, no Google, just snow, wind, darkness, and the will to live. How did people survive when everything froze? And why did a dish they called hakar or rakfisk, something most people today would gag just smelling, become the key to staying alive? Our story begins more than 1,000 years ago, among the icy waves of the Arctic Sea. Imagine living in the 9th century in a small Viking village deep in what is now Norway. The wind howls through wooden cracks, snow blocks every path, and the cold bites harder than a blade. There's no central heating, no brick homes, no canned food. When winter arrives, it's not just a season, it's a battle for survival. In the long, dark months, fishing and hunting become impossible. Food runs out, shelves go empty, hope thins. The only way to stay alive, find a way to preserve food. In that brutal environment, a strange idea took root. Fish, buried in the ground, slowly fermenting over time in the cold and damp earth. At first, it might have been an accident, but once they realized this fermented fish could last the whole winter and still be edible, the Vikings turned it into a tradition of survival. It wasn't just food, it was a promise of life. Historians believe fermented fish may have begun as a mistake. Maybe one day a Viking caught too many fish. Unable to eat or dry them all, he buried them in the sand or left them in the shelter to rot. But when hunger came knocking weeks later, he ate them. And he survived. From that moment on, fermentation became more than chance. It became a calculated method, one of the only ways to preserve protein through months of frost, snow, and silence. They used fish like herring, cod, even Greenland shark. In some areas, they even fermented with horse manure for insulation, a practice no longer allowed today. The fermentation process required precision, exact moisture levels, the right soil, enough time for the fish's own enzymes and beneficial bacteria to do their work. The Vikings didn't know about enzymes or gut flora, but through generations of trial and error, they accidentally created what modern science calls a superfood. Today, we understand why Viking rotten fish may have saved lives. Fermented fish contains lactic acid bacteria, which promotes a healthy gut, much like yogurt. Easily digestible proteins, broken down by natural enzymes. B12 and omega-3, essential for survival in low-light, cold environments. During months without fresh meat or sunlight, fermented fish became more than food. It was fuel. It protected their immune systems, gave them strength to hunt and build in the snow, and helped prevent malnutrition. In fact, modern studies show that people in Scandinavia still have healthier gut flora thanks to their fermented food traditions. Think this food is extinct? Think again. In Iceland, hakar, fermented Greenland shark, is still eaten during traditional festivals. In Norway and Sweden, rakfisk and surströmming are still served, though their odor can shock even the boldest traveler. But for locals, this isn't just a meal. It's memory. It's heritage. It's a sign of gratitude to ancestors who figured out how to survive when everything else failed. One young Swede once said, "When I tasted fermented fish for the first time, I didn't like it. But when I remembered that my grandfather survived on this, I knew I was tasting our family's history." And maybe that's what the Vikings are really teaching us, that strength isn't just found in swords or ships, but in adaptation, in finding life, even in what smells like death. Dear friend, we've just walked through a remarkable journey, through icy winds, strong flavors, and stronger hearts. And maybe the greatest legacy the Vikings left us isn't their battles, but a quiet message. Don't fear change. Trust your adaptation. Even in the harshest winter, the human spirit can ferment survival into strength.